Today we are going to talk about something on observability. So observability is something very important thing in SRE or DevOps space. So you should need to know about what is observability and what is monitoring, and there are certain the things that need to focus about it today. So we can have a fine difference between what exactly the monitoring is and what exactly the observability is. So we will be talking about something more and more about observability only on today. So this will help you to understand the core difference between the monitoring and how it will help you on triaging the issues and all those things. Okay, having said that, so what is exactly observability? So observability is the ability to measure the internal state of system based on its outputs. For example, logs, metrics, and traces. It enables teams to understand what's happening inside their systems without having to instrument every possible failure scenario explicitly. So this is all about observability. Observability has three core pillars, basically metrics, logs, and traces. Metrics is all about quantitative data that provide insight into the system's health and performance. For example, CPU usage, memory utilization, latency, disk IO, and all those things comes under the metrics. Logs is all about immutable, time-stamped records of discrete events that happened in the systems. Traces, it's all about the user journey, records of user or system transactions that travels through the various component of applications, helping the tracking the life cycle of the request. Modern observability tools allows teams to do too many things. You can easily detect the anomalies or potential issues, debug and diagnose the failure, and you can optimize the system performance as well. Okay. Now you should need to know about what exactly the monitoring is and what exactly the observability is. Monitoring is like checking your car dashboard for speed and fuel, predefined metrics. Those all things comes under the monitoring. And the observability is like having a diagnostic tool that analyze every component of your car to understand why it is making a strange noise, deep insight into a system's behavior. This is all about comes to the observability. So this is have a very clear difference between what is monitoring and what is observability. So monitoring is not an observability. Observability is another layer of the monitoring. You should need to know about what are the 10 differences about these things. So in today's world, in the modern distributed systems, like we are using microservices now. So we will be having a lot of distributed systems, and monitoring alone is not sufficient because it is impossible to triage the issues, to find the traces from one request to another request. So too many things has, right? So it is impossible to predefine all possible failure scenarios. So observability is the one which provides the tool and techniques to analyze and debug the unknown issues effectively. Okay, so now you would have known what is observability and what is monitoring. So there are certain core differences are been there. So let's get into it. What are all those things? So we can start with the definitions. Monitoring is an act of collecting and analyzing the predefined data points to ensure the system health. And when it comes for the observability, is the capability to infer the internal state of the system based on the external output. What exactly it focuses? So monitoring is all about reactive. It detects the known issue of failure. Observability is all about proactive. So it diagnoses the unknown issues and understand the complex system behavior. So the data source is all about monitoring. It relies on predefined metrics like metrics, alerts, and logs. So when it comes for an observability, it utilizes the metrics, logs, and traces to gain a deeper insight into the systems. Okay, the purpose is all about to ensure the system is functional as expected in the monitoring space, where an observability to understand why the system is behaving in a certain way. So there are the two core differences. It's very important to know about it. Let's talk about something about the scope. It's limited to specific metrics or events that are explicitly instrumented. When in observability, it has a broader enabling analysis on emergent or unpredictable system behavior. Tools are pretty similar in both observability and monitoring space. So mostly like in observability, we do have an Agios, Zabbix, CloudWatch as a basic monitoring. When it comes to an observability, you need to have a multiple chunk of the observability open source products or SaaS products, something like Prometheus, Grafana, Datadog, New Relic, OpenTelemetry. All of these comes under the full stack observability. So this is all about the key questions needs to be addressed. What is monitoring and what is observability? Definitely you would have been hit up this. Monitoring is all about, is the system is up or not? Are the service is up or down? Service is slow or normal? Okay, so this comes in a space of monitoring. When it comes to an observability, why the system is behaving this way? Where did the issue originate? Why the system having this much of latency? Which component is creating a too much of latency? So those things comes under in an observability. How we are approaching to the issues. Monitoring, it focus on detecting and alerting on known issues. When CPU is up, you know what to do. When memory is up, you know what to do. When service is down, you know what to do. When it comes to the observability, it focus on diagnosing the root cause of unknown or complex issues. So mostly it talks about the RCA. Well, we need to talk about the customization as well. In the monitoring, typically involves setting up the specific dashboard alerts for the certain known conditions or thresholds. When an observability, when it talks about like involving a dynamic querying, exploring a data to gain insights into a system behavior. In the monitoring, it works well with simpler and static systems when failure are predictable. Okay, if you have a monolithic app, it's okay, fine. You can talk about monitoring. When you have an microservices, distributed components designed for complex and distributed microservice based architecture with unpredictable behaviors, so that exactly the observability comes into the picture. Now you would have known what's the difference between the monitoring and observability. I hope you would have liked this video. Thank you so much for watching out this.